Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Microsoft 365 Pulse recording for this week. You'll notice that we are down two people because Jen's off at conferences and Adam had some other things going on. So you are stuck with the Tom and Tamara show today. So basically, it'll follow the same format as normal. We will deal with the in development items. Those are the things that Microsoft is working on right now back in Redmond or wherever they happen to be. Then we will move to rolling out. Rolling out means that it's in the process of starting to work through the different channels, and it could show up in your tenant at any time. And then at the very end, we have launched, and launch means that people should be seeing it in their tenant, provided that you have a tenant that it rolled out to. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Tamara, you want to cover some of the things that you think are really interesting in this week's in development?
Sure. A couple things that came out in development this week are Yammer, a new administrator role in Azure Active Directory. So a new role is being added to Azure Active Directory titled Yammer Administrator, and users who are assigned the Yammer role, sorry, rolled up there just a second. Users who are assigned the Yammer administrator role will be allowed to manage all aspects of the Yammer service. So this is rolling out worldwide to all of the tenants. Another thing that I thought was interesting is Microsoft Graph got some love and got some new connectors. So ServiceNow, which is a very popular help desk ticketing system, now has in development a connector that will index incident tickets from ServiceNow into Microsoft Search and allow users to query them from SharePoint, Microsoft Bing, Office.com, and Microsoft Teams and the Windows search box. So I thought that was interesting. I thought that's going to add a lot of transparency to people who are using ServiceNow as their ticketing system so that users can keep abreast of where their tickets are in the resolution process. I think this is also going to make people keep their ServiceNow tickets more updated because people will have visibility into them. And then Confluence on-premises graph connector, the Confluence's on-premises graph connector is going to index content like pages, blogs from Confluence on-premises site into Microsoft Search and allow users to query them from SharePoint, Microsoft Bing, Office.com, Microsoft Teams, and the Windows search box. So again, kind of making Microsoft 365 your one-stop shop by bringing in these connectors to disparate systems. So I thought that that was interesting.
I think those will be really nice. I like those. A couple of the things that I saw, OneDrive and Microsoft Stream sharing links that block download for most video and audio files. So you may be sharing a video file or an audio file with somebody, and you're thinking, I'd like you to listen to it, but I really don't want you to download the thing and be able to then pass it along to people who may or may not should be able to see it. Now you're going to be able to block the ability for somebody to download the file. So you can still view it, you just have to do it through the web player experience, and that's as far as it goes. So I think that adds a certain level of security that is necessary if you're doing meetings that are having dealt with sensitive subjects or things like that. A couple of the other things that are going on, Microsoft Teams, there's some entries out there that are really interesting because it's getting some love here. But it always gets love because it's Microsoft Teams. One is chat density. So the amount of space that you see on your screen when you've got chat messages coming, it's generous with white space. And now you're going to be able to use a compact setting to fit 50% more messages on the screen. So again, some people think, oh God, that's too crowded. I can't see anything. Others are like, I want to see as much as I can on my screen, please, especially if you have a small screen to begin with. So that's going to be coming. That should be next month. Yes, it is December. So it'll be in January, and that's coming to the whole kit and caboodle, worldwide, GCC, GCC High, and DoD. One that I really like, and some people are like, why would you want to do that? But it really makes sense. And
Yeah.
yeah, Microsoft Teams, chat with yourself. You're like, okay, that's Why? So users will be able to send themselves notes, messages, files, and images, videos, helping them to stay organized. So basically what this allows you to do, if you're sitting in a meeting and you're like, oh, I just had a really quick thought that I want to jot down somewhere so I can remember to act on it otherwise, and maybe you don't have a little notepad or you don't have OneNote up or running, what you can do is just go into Microsoft Teams and set up a chat with yourself and send the notes like, hey, look into XYZ when we're done. And you'll be able to then have that electronic record of these little one-off ideas that hit you. I think it's an awesome idea for being able to manage those little things that just happen to hit your brain that you want to write down somewhere before it disappears. So I'm really looking forward for that. That's supposed to be in February. And again, it hits all the different clients, GCC, GCC High, DoD, and worldwide.
It
And then
still makes me laugh.
it does. It's like I'm
because it's
just
like
sitting
you're
here and
talking to yourself,
talk to
and you're
myself.
like
Exactly.
having an outward conversation with yourself with typing.
Yeah, it's like you don't have enough to do. You want to talk to yourself in Teams. Rock on. I like that one. The other one is Microsoft Teams delayed delivery of chat messages. So you're going to be able to send out a chat message at a time that's convenient to you, and the message will arrive at its destination at the time you scheduled. This is really great if you're dealing with multiple time zones. For instance, in my case, the company I work for, a large number of the people are in Pacific time zone. I happen to live outside of Minneapolis, so I'm in Central time zone. So a lot of times I will like put a chat message in the meeting or in the Teams client that looks like I'm working at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Because you are.
Well, there is that, but what I can do is I can say, hey, instead of sending this immediately and it looking at 4 a.m., why don't you send it at 6:30 when I'm theoretically supposed to be working? So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one, especially if you've got like multiple hours in there. If you're working here and you're communicating with people over in England, that can really help in terms of making sure messages arrive at a time that is proper for the recipient. So looking forward to that. That should be in February. And again, it's the whole suite, worldwide, GCC, GCCI, and DoD.
And then two more that I wanted to bring up was new tag management for Microsoft Teams. So this feature will update the default tag management settings in the Teams Administration Center to include team owners and members, and not just team owners. So you can still update this to only team owners as the tenant level and override the default, but it'll change that to teams owners and members. And then the other thing that I think is really great is new guest user usability improvements, enabling pending invitation decline and show hide guest tenant list from the Teams app account setting. So a guest user can now leave an organization from the Teams app account settings. A guest user can also choose to hide and show guest tenants from the team account settings. So this kind of helps it keep it clean when you're working in multiple tenants.
Yeah,
so
I've got like 4 or 5 listed that it's like I never visit those anymore. I'd like to get rid of them.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
that'll be
And
awesome.
it's nice to have that option.
Yeah. So anything else in development that you'd like to mention?
No, anything nerdy and in development that you think you should mention for
Yeah, I've got to play the role of nerdy admin Adam today, and there's not any here. There's a couple I'm going to mention later on, which I will cover as in I don't know what I'm talking about, but I can read really well. So that will come into play here for rolling out.
Awesome.
Do you want to go ahead and start with rolling out then?
Sure. Rolling out in November, so this month, is Whiteboard on Windows is being revamped. So Microsoft Whiteboard provides a free-form intelligent canvas where teams can ideate. I want to be the person who wrote this description. Can ideate, create, and collaborate visually via the cloud. The new Whiteboard app for Windows addresses key customer asks around offering a uniform and seamless experience with Whiteboard on other clients and platforms. It also provides highly requested features such as the ability to add shapes and adopt a user-centric approach by focusing on marquee features such as the ability to insert templates, images, sticky notes, text boxes, and stickers, because we all get by better with stickers, and keeping the interface lean and the user experience simple yet effective. So mark that up to Whiteboard is getting some love.
Yeah, I think that's good because I know that, where I work, there's been this thing of, well, do you use Whiteboard or do you use a different product? And it used to be that Whiteboard didn't really perform very well in a, list of features type thing. It's gotten much better. So I love seeing these new things that they're doing and possibly get it more on par with the other options that are out there and make this more of a item that people just naturally gravitate to instead of going, well, what are my other options? Which has happened more.
Yeah, in the DoD environment, we don't have Whiteboard, so I've recommended that people use OneNote and use the draw feature.
It's a good idea.
In OneNote for meetings for a whiteboard. The other thing that I wanted to bring up was content from a camera in Microsoft Teams.
That one's cool.
This is really cool. So content from a camera in Teams enables you to share content from a physical artifact, such as a whiteboard or documents, in a high quality and legible way during meetings. All you need is a laptop or PC with a built-in camera or with an attached USB camera. So educators can also share content directly from a document camera. So that's rolling out. That should have rolled out last month. So you should start seeing that in your environments.
The thing that I thought was kind of cool about this one, if it was the same item that I'm remembering, is that if you basically say, hey, I'm sharing this document and I'm holding it up or I'm, doing a display thing here, it recognizes that and makes that document the, this is what you're sharing, like you were sharing a document online. Yeah, but it also learns to get rid of your hand.
Oh,
and so it just looks like a document that is being shared. It doesn't look like you're holding something with this, disembodied hand floating around. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what that looks like when it does come out. I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
Great.
Now I will put on my nerdy hat. And we will talk about a couple compliance center things that are out there. Again, not necessarily my jam, but I want to go ahead and mention them. So if you're expecting these, know that they are rolling out and you could be seeing them pretty much at any time now. So the first one is advanced e-discovery hold optimizations. So this provides various service optimizations for advanced e-discovery, including service improvements for hold and limits increase. Second one that they have out there is Teams data in Content Explorer. So now with the availability of Teams data in Content Explorer, customers will be able to display sensitive information and sensitivity labels detected on Teams data within the Content Explorer. So you're going to have more ability to get in and monitor what things are going on in Teams in terms of the data that's being stored there. And the final one they have is Advanced eDiscovery Case Limits Enhancements. So this is expanding the limits for collection size, review set volume, and export. The limits expansion increases the collection size from 300 gigabytes currently to 1 terabyte. Wow. And expands the limit set capacity as well as accommodate large case volumes. Export limits will be increased to 5 million documents or 500 gigabytes, whichever is smaller.
Wow.
The update will ensure organizations are able to manage their e-discovery process across very large data sets effectively with advanced e-discovery, currently available in public preview. So again, if you are involved in large discovery efforts for, lawsuits and stuff like that, this is really going to be of interest to you. And again, public preview, rolling out, definitely take advantage of that. If you think that you're going to need more than 300 gigabytes of content, yeah, let's go up to 1 terabyte. That sounds like a whole lot of fun. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for the compliance. Anything else you want to touch on rolling out before we go to launch?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Well, I will go ahead and take launch because I didn't have all that much in launch that I wanted to mention. And in all likelihood, we've discussed this in previous things because it should have either been in development or rolling out. So one thing, Microsoft Teams starting recording will also start live transcription. So you don't have to remember to start either or. It's just you start the recording, you get them both. So that should be out there now. And it's in worldwide and GCC. And then Microsoft 365 Admin Center Viva Learning Usage Report. So if you're using Viva Learning, this report will help IT admins understand the activity of every user licensed to use Viva Learning by looking at their interactions. It also helps IT admins understand the type of features being used within the Learning app. So again, if you don't have a learning management system right now and you're using Viva Learning, this is starting to get you higher up on the scale in terms of being able to say, hey, we've put all this content out there, we've put all the learning material out there. What are they actually doing with it? Who's actually using it? This is what this particular report's going to help you with. And it's launched in November. You should have it by now. And it is being rolled out to Germany and worldwide. So look for it at a tenant near you. And Tamara, what do you see in launch that makes you happy?
Oh, a couple things. The anonymous user join policy. And again, I flicked my spreadsheet, so it rolled past everything. This is fabulous. My mouse must be on its last legs of its battery.
I'll go downstairs and get you more batteries.
You are a gentleman and a scholar.
I try.
So the anonymous user join is especially important in the DoD environment so that partners can come into meetings. And the team meeting policy that controls allowing anonymous users on the meeting organizer level is being enhanced. So that launched in November of this year, and that went out for worldwide DoD, GCC High, and GCC. Also, the Microsoft Graph Taxonomy Service, Graph APIs. So a new Graph API that allows developers to work directly with managed metadata services, which provides a common taxonomy for tagging and classifying content across Microsoft 365. That rolled out this last month, November 2021, to the worldwide tenant. And then also the modern site level term store for SharePoint syntax, a modern experience to create and manage site level taxonomies for your sites. So again, getting that real centralized taxonomy that you can use across the entire site or site collection, that's big. That's coming up or has released in November.
Cool.
And that's all that I have for launch, which takes us into cancel.
Which is yours.
Yeah, so we're canceling Visio, which is map your process data and automatically transform it into a Visio diagram. This item is being canceled and removed from the roadmap, but will be republished when plans solidify in the future. So use the process mapping pane to map your process data and provide custom settings for automatic creation of process flowcharts using the data visualizer Excel add-in. So again, that's been removed. They're going to kind of reconvene on that and then republish that when that's due out. The Microsoft 365 Admin Center, the global usage report for Microsoft Teams. This roadmap item has been incorporated into an existing roadmap item. So look for it coming out with
Under
the
some other
roadmap
number.
item with the feature ID 85540. And then Microsoft 365 Compliance Center Advanced Audit Mail Attachments events. This item has been delayed and will be added back to the roadmap when the schedule is determined. Azure, apparently we both have the same thing going on. Azure Active Directory password protection enforced for all changes. Currently, password updates made through the graph do not have banned password enforcement, along with B2C users and service principals. This change will enforce password protection and all password creations and changes. This feature has been canceled. So that's canceled. No plans to add it back in. Microsoft Project, different dependency types in Project for the web. This feature has been postponed. And then the Microsoft 365 Compliance Center Insider Risk Management admin email notification. This item has been delayed and will be added back into the roadmap when the schedule is determined. So we have a couple delayed, we have a couple that are just being thrown out, and a couple that are being incorporated into other items in the roadmap. And I believe that takes us to the end of the Microsoft Pulse. Tom, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, for those of you who are going to be headed to Las Vegas next week for the Microsoft 365 Collaboration Conference, definitely look for myself. I will be attending. Tamara's going to go down also. She'll be working, but she'll probably be,
Information will be there. Adam
Jen
will
will
be
be
there.
there. Adam will be there. So yeah, definitely if you see us, feel free to step up, say hi, introduce yourself, and we will talk to you then.
Thanks so much for joining. Have a good day. Bye
Bye,
now.
everyone.